In 2018, there was a brief uproar in the press about the energy usage of Bitcoin. An article in Nature estimated that Bitcoin mining operations had a massive carbon footprint and might single-handedly push the world past the 2-degree warming target. This generated a lot of negative press and even calls to regulate or eliminate Bitcoin mining. We wanted to learn more about energy consumption in blockchains to see if the problem was as serious as presented in the media. In one sense, the answer is yes. As a worldwide total, Bitcoin itself consumes 0.21% of the world's electricity, which is similar to that of Kuwait. In 1 month, blockchain mining consumes more than 1.17 terawatt hours of electricity, which equates to millions of US households. Regarding the carbon footprint, one Bitcoin transaction releases between 233 and 263 kilograms of CO2. To compare, one Visa credit card transaction releases just 0.4 grams of CO2. If one transaction were a mile, Visa could get you to the moon and back, plus 4 times around the world, compared to just 1 mile for Bitcoin. At its core, this high energy consumption comes from something called the Proof-of-Work Consensus Protocol. A consensus protocol is a method in which all of the members, or nodes, in a blockchain network come to agree on the state of the general ledger. In a proof-of-work consensus protocol, all of the computers, which are called miners, race to guess the answer to a very hard math problem. The winner gets to add the next block onto the blockchain and gets the reward. For example, a Bitcoin. As the price of Bitcoin skyrocketed, a Bitcoin mining arms race began and the computational power being used exploded. On the plus side, however, all that electricity results in a tremendously secure blockchain. To rewrite a block and possibly steal some coins, a bad actor would need to crack the code, rewrite a block, and any blocks added afterwards, and then overpower more than half the miners on the network, which is extremely difficult. Nonetheless, we want to investigate solutions to this energy problem. We will evaluate our solutions using 6 criteria. 1. Does the solution decrease electricity consumption? 2. Does the solution reduce the carbon footprint of blockchains? 3. Does the solution reduce costs? 4. Does the solution compromise the security of the blockchain? 5. Does implementing the solution result in a lot of e-waste? And finally, 6. Is the solution something you can control at the firm level? How actionable is the solution?
Hardware efficiency is one proposed solution, and it is already a key metric to evaluate cars, light bulbs, cell phone batteries, etc. When we talk about hardware efficiency, we refer almost exclusively to proof-of-work blockchains. Efficiency is measured by hash rate per unit of electricity. Hash rate is the number of guesses a miner can make each second. Over the past decade, specialized hardware called ASIC miners significantly increased mining efficiency. For example, the hash rate efficiency of a modern Antminer S9i is more than 300,000 times that of an Intel Core Duo. That's like comparing a Toyota Prius at 58 miles per gallon to a machine that travels 1 foot per gallon. Despite these efficiencies, Bitcoin's energy consumption is reaching new highs. Just this month, Bitcoin's hash rate hit all-time highs at more than double the rate just 1 year ago. According to NewsBTC, it is now trading around 27% under its energy value. It should be noted that these figures don't include the electricity used to cool the mining centers, which is not insignificant. So let's examine hardware based on our 6 criteria. Regardless of energy efficiency, proof of work uses a lot of power. A recent publication stated that efficient mining hardware would not reduce a proof of work blockchain's energy requirements in the long term. Between the production of hardware and the energy to run it, the carbon footprint will simply be high. The best ASIC miners are thousands of dollars each. They are relatively low-cost machines, but they tend to be slower and burn out more quickly. Replacement costs add up. The machines themselves have no direct effect on security. ASIC miners have a short lifespan and they can't be repurposed. Some are replaced when they are no longer profitable. Other machines simply burn out. Estimated lifespans vary, but don't plan on getting more than 3 years out of a quality ASIC. Hardware decisions are highly actionable. Your choice of miner, cost, and quality is completely yours to make based on the amount you want to invest, electricity costs, etc.
Now let's discuss renewable energy solutions for blockchain technologies. It is estimated that there is enough renewable energy produced by hydroelectric dams, biofuels, solar, and wind sources to power the Bitcoin network 100 times over. The good news is that it is estimated that 74% of all Bitcoin mining is operated on renewable energy sources, so it seems that the community at large agrees that renewables are the path forward. Some of the popular locations used by Bitcoin mining operations include Iceland, China, Norway, Washington State, and British Columbia because of their cheap renewable energy costs and favorable climate conditions. The Moonlight project, located in Iceland, is an example of a Bitcoin mining operation that obtained the goal of using 100% renewable energy. Iceland provides a plethora of renewable energy sources such as hydropower, geothermal, and wind that help make this a reality. However, it's not always possible to maintain the use of renewables. Factors such as water availability affect hydropower solutions, and high power consumption can tax local renewable infrastructure. Often, non-renewable sources are used to balance out fluctuations in availability. This variability is expected to be exacerbated by climate change in the coming years. So how does renewable energy fit into our criteria? While energy consumption is not directly affected by using renewable resources, it is estimated that moving to 100% renewables can reduce CO2 emissions by 90% or more depending on the renewable source. Even using renewables part-time will go a long way in reducing the carbon footprint. The cost of renewable energy is often much cheaper than non-renewable. However, there is cost associated with building a renewable energy infrastructure or moving to an area where energy is already produced by renewables, making it potentially expensive upfront. Long-term cost planning is necessary to determine if the savings would be viable. Renewable energy does not address security or e-waste since it is not directly part of the blockchain technology. Like cost, the hurdles of building a renewable energy infrastructure or moving operations elsewhere hurts the actionability of achieving 100% renewable energy, not to mention the factors outlined earlier that affect continuous availability.
These solutions do not affect energy consumption because they do not address the proof-of-work consensus protocol. We looked at other consensus protocols that are being introduced into blockchain to reduce the resource consumption. One protocol is proof-of-stake. Proof-of-stake randomly assigns transactional record keeping to nodes based on a lottery system, making it so that people are not rewarded for having the fastest computer, which wastes the most energy, but rather by being a valued member of the network. For example, Ethereum claims that it can reduce the energy consumption by 99%. Another example of consensus protocols is BFT. BFT skips the mining task altogether by having all of the tokens out into the system already and getting the nodes to work with each other to make sure that there is correct and accurate record keeping. Ripple uses this protocol. So after you look at the protocol change, you get to look at supplemental changes that would also impact it, like SegWit or Lightning networks for Bitcoin, or Sharding or Raiden network for Ethereum. All have resource consumption changes, but not quite on the level of a consensus protocol. Let's examine hardware based on 6 criteria. Using proof-of-stake or BFT protocols are amazingly effective. A representative from Carbon claims a stake pool can run on RockPi that consumes 5 watts. With approximately 1,000 nodes, you can run a decentralized financial system for the whole world on only 5,000 watts. Just as electricity consumption is incredibly low, so is the carbon footprint. No special miners are needed and the electricity consumption is minimal, which results in low costs.
The jury's out on security. Some claim these protocols to be just as secure as proof of work, but others say they are less secure.
There is no more e-waste associated with alternative consensus protocols than with any typical computer network. If you are building a new blockchain solution and the choice of protocol is yours, if you look to join a pre-existing blockchain solution, you will be limited to the protocols with that solution. The good news is that there are many solutions to choose from.
At the beginning of this video, we asked if the energy consumption problem in blockchains was real or just media hype. As we have seen, the problem is indeed real, but it is limited to blockchains that use the proof-of-work consensus protocol. We have discussed 3 different ways this energy consumption problem could be addressed. Based on these findings, we have 3 key takeaways. 1. Hardware solutions will not appreciably affect the energy consumption. 2. Trying to mine cryptocurrencies using renewable resources can reduce the carbon footprint, but might not be practical for everyone. 3. Shifting the consensus protocol or using two-layer networks can reduce electricity consumption without fatally compromising blockchain security.